Hi guys, welcome back to Origami Twist. My name's Jen, and in today's video, we're actually going to do a project that is extremely simple and not paper related. It is perfect for this season if you live in a place that drops pine cones because they're all over the ground at this time of year. And yeah, you can go and collect a few and perhaps make one of these. So we are making pine cone flowers today. This is a concept that I saw on Pinterest, just in a picture, and I've developed my own method for doing them. You can do them however you like. So you go girl or guy if you want to make your own. Please feel free to get creative with this, but I'm going to give you a couple of suggestions that I found helpful in this process. Okay, so first things first is materials. You are going to need some pine cones. And the pine cones I'm using are, surprise, surprise, the ones I could find available in the craft store here in Australia. We don't have a lot of pine trees in Australia. And while you can find pine cones in some locations, the location where I am in Southeast Queensland, they are few and far between, and I had to look everywhere to even find them in a craft store. So I did finally find them at Spotlight, and I got a bag for about $5. But hopefully you have them either in your backyard or you know someone who has pine trees near them where you can get some. Otherwise, definitely check the craft store. Quite often they'll have collections of them for you to use. So one thing I found as I was painting these pine cones is that the tops of them have different shapes that lend themselves to different types of flowers. So I'm actually going to use this one as an example today because I think it makes a lovely flower there. Now first we're going to paint one so you have an idea of what I'm doing, and then I'll show you a whole bunch of different applications that I played around with. So I'm going to use inexpensive Semco acrylic. I just bought them at a variety store here in Australia. Very, very inexpensive, nothing special, but the acrylic will be ideally relatively opaque. So that was the thought process behind this, is that you don't want to be able to see the brown underneath the paint, theoretically. So I'm using a big dab of white, and then I'm going to do a tiny dab of red. Okay, I've got an inexpensive brush and a palette here, a palette knife that I'm going to mix up. I'm aiming for pink. Red. Oh yeah, that's so pretty. Look at that. Aiming for pink rather than red. Oh yeah, that's going to be beautiful. Kind of a carnation pink. Look at that. All right, so you mix up your color and then you dust off if there's any dust or anything on the pine cone. It obviously came out of nature, so you never know. You just load your brush and paint. Easy. You can have the kids do this, do a whole bunch yourself, turn on Netflix and paint. Get it into the grooves. So you want to use I'm using a very inexpensive brush. Again, that came from a variety store. Now I'm going to use one coat here. Keeping in mind, you can let this dry and do as many coats as you need to get the opacity that you're looking for. You can see the brown through it a little bit. That's not surprising at all. It is a pretty dark brown to start. So there's my pink. Lovely. Acrylic, inexpensive acrylic paint. And let me show you what else I've done with these projects so you can get an idea and, maybe see if you have materials already in your house that you don't need to buy. So this is inexpensive acrylic. This one here is a dried version, because I knew this wouldn't be dry when we had this conversation. A dried version where I used the purple mixed with the white. So you get an idea of what it's going to look like with one coat dry. This next one I thought was really quite gorgeous, especially if you were putting it into a wreath or something for Thanksgiving or the fall. This is Heidi Swapp Color Shine in Peach. I don't even know if they make this anymore, but the concept behind it is a liquid with a glittery suspension in it that you use as a spray. I know they still exist in one form or another in different brands. The concept is the same, and it does have an amazing effect. So if you happen to have any of this in your collection from back in the day, go ahead and use it. They may still sell it. Again, I don't know. This is just from my regular collection. But again, I highly recommend it. Something with like a glitter spray and some color. Absolutely gorgeous. I think that's actually my favorite of the group. Over here, I've got gouache. And gouache is a type of paint that dries to almost a matte texture, but it can be re-wet with water. It behaves like a watercolor, but it's opaque. Very interesting medium to work with. I haven't done a lot with it, but I would like to learn a lot more about it. Very fun to work with. You can water it down to a liquid state and apply it in a wash, but it's more opaque than watercolor. And it can be applied to things like this, where you've got a natural, almost moss-like effect with that. How cool would that be to do a bunch of flowers with these two? So the spray and the gouache, and then make a centerpiece for your table for Thanksgiving. It'd be so gorgeous. And last but not least, I have used nail polish. So this is Sally Hansen Hard as Nails Extreme Wear Nail Color. I don't necessarily recommend using nail polish you use all the time, but if you've got some that you use for craft projects, this is a great craft project to use it on. Gives you a little bit more of a shiny effect, unlike your acrylic that's matte and your gouache that's also matte, but it's not as shiny as the Color Shine, see? So that has a lovely effect. I would probably do several coats, and what I might do next time is actually put an acrylic or a white base paint, or even a latex, if you've got a latex wall paint, underneath, and then top it off with the nail polish rather than just painting it. This is directly on the brown, and obviously the brown still comes through. So there you go. Pinterest pinecone flowers. Do I recommend it? Absolutely. As I said, you need some tools to work with it, unfortunately, but I absolutely would suggest doing this, especially with the holidays coming up. This would be great in all kinds of holiday crafts. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you decide to make some. And please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this, but also origami and other paper crafting as well. I've got over 100 videos on my channel, and I'd love to have you check them all out and come back for more soon. Have a great day, guys. Happy crafting. Take care. Bye-bye.